Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on February 12th, 2022 at approximately 10:04 a.m. PST. As you can tell, eyes aren't working necessarily as well as I'd like. Anyway, welcome. I am a spiritual guide, and what this means is the tools that I offer. First and foremost, I've returned to this planet at this time, for this lifetime, with one primary purpose: to remind all entities that working together, we can make this a better world for all. Now, the reason I build myself as a spiritual guide is because every tool I offer, if it applies to me, I'm using it. If it doesn't, I've got in excess of 80,000 clients under my belt that have tested a lot of these processes and have given me feedback that they work. Okay, with this in mind, it starts right here. Okay, all things, society itself is in a bit of a bind, and all of that can change. The structures are built essentially correctly. They need a little tweaking. But this is not the time to focus on overthrowing anything or on throwing programs out. Okay. Yes, the political system is a mess. The system is great. It's the people in it that are causing the complication. And we've got to realize right from the get-go, before you start pointing fingers at anybody, it all boils down to you, to me. All of us have the same responsibility because every single one of us is a politician, a teacher, we're a spiritual guide, we're a doctor, we're a first responder. You get the picture? We all fit the same bill. Every single entity in existence fits the same bill. And it's time we start looking at this as a unified construct, because it literally requires all of us working together to make this a better world, to alter the direction that energy is flowing in. Now, it starts here. In other words, look in the mirror, take responsibility for your own actions, your own words. Okay, and let's let go of the idea that change is painful or frightening. Because in essence, you're listening to this. Every time I move, every word I say, you're having to change to adjust to it. Now, unless you're writhing in pain by listening to my voice, which wouldn't be an entire surprise, okay, you're changing as it is. Now, we talk about all these illnesses out there that are mutating. Bad news. Your own body is mutating every moment of every day. It's always changing. It's the one consistency in reality. Now, you start here. What is working for you? What are you content with? If you're content with something, that's fantastic. Stay on track. But keep an eye out for changes that have to be made. If you're not content with something in your life, okay, and remember, the only person you got control over, regardless of what anybody tells you, the only person that actually has control over you is you. Now, yes, there are certain circumstances that create hiccups, and I'm sure people can point out, oh, I don't have control of this. Don't go there. Okay, because the odds are I'm going to find a way around it, and so are you. But there are exceptions. Some people are in such dire straits, like right now, where I'm standing in life. Okay, the job I've got right now, that's pretty much where I stand, because at 58 years old, I don't have time to go back to school and get an education. Okay, to actually upgrade my education to the point where I could be a computer programmer or something to this effect. Could I technically take the turn to learn and take the time to learn it? Certainly. Do I have the interest in it? No. But that's my choice. I could go after a better income. I could do better on my marketing for my books, etc. But I'm not. And that's my responsibility. Okay. So the first thing you do is look in your own world. Now, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel. Okay. Do subscribe to the channel. Remember to hit that alert button to let you know when the next video comes out, because I do try and get these out once a day. Now, once you've taken a look in your own mirror, in your own life, and gone, what am I content with? Okay, now you take a look at this. Okay, one of the things I like about the way my computer is set up right now is I can see what's up behind me. If you look over here, that's all inventory. Those all have, most of that is books that I have in print. And if you're looking for what books I've written, there's a list of them below this video. Okay, there's also a list of ways of contacting me. So if you have a question, absolutely, I would love to hear your comments in the comment section below this. Okay, or if you want to say something that you desire to keep a little more private, there's a whole list of ways of getting a hold of me underneath this video, and I do my best to respond to them. Now, once you've got the energy itself boils down to get rid of the clutter, get things moved around so that you've got what you desire, what you require in your life organized. Okay, when you do that, you will eliminate a lot of complications. Now, the backbone of a home is the kitchen, the dining room, and the living room. Okay, it's just that simple. That's where the feeling is. Okay, the backbone, the backbone of a house, on the other hand, or of a business, is the finances. Okay, I'm sitting right in front of my workstation here, and I finally got around to doing this, which I should have done a while ago. But figure out how much money you require to run your household. Rent, mortgage, transportation, entertainment, savings, utilities, insurance, you get the picture. I may have missed something. Once you figure that out, you put that number down, you use that number where I'm about to show you. Now, for me, I require $2,500 to run my house. Okay. That said, okay, you write down a list. Now, I've written down 3,500 here, okay? Because 25 is what I require, but I am aiming at getting more. So you literally take a sheet of paper and you go, I have legally attained a minimum of X dollars by February 28th, 2022 at 23:59, which for those of you that don't know military time, 23:59 boils down to 1 minute to midnight. Now this 3,500 that I wrote here, okay, that's where you put in the amount that you desire to generate by the end of this month. Okay. Now, at the same time, I run a household. I run a business. Okay, Inner Voice Enterprises. And to that effect, to make sure my business is growing, bear in mind, this money here is part of what comes into the household. But where it comes to your business, IVE is the initials of my business. Inner Voice Enterprises has legally generated a minimum of $600 per month. Or $600 by February 28th, 2022 at 1 minute to midnight. Now you make a sign like that. This is for the business. This sits wherever your business finances are done. In my case, they're done in the same place because I work from home. Okay. That way you can see whether you're generating the right money. And what this really does is it draws the energy out of the spiritual world into the material world where it can be made manifest. Okay. By doing that, you'll make it a lot easier for yourself. The last 5 months that I've done this, okay, I have broken the barrier that I put each time. Now, I'm only raising it by a little. Okay. And there's a reason for that. Where it comes to the business, I literally raise it by $50 a month. Okay. Usually by 50. Okay, where it comes to the business here. And the reason for that is I know I've got a stable check that will absolutely get most of that done, which means I've got to start building my book sales and my consulting tasks. Okay, this is what I have to do myself. Okay, in order to make the business grow properly. So you get that sorted around, and this other little thing I have here. Okay, this little thing here. That's a list of the tasks that I've got already on my plate for today. Okay, and until I get through all of those, I won't be dealing with adding more to them because otherwise I get so caught up in the list that I don't get anything accomplished. Now, you take a look at where your world is. We can put this off until tomorrow, you can put it off till next week, but the reality of it is, whenever you start changing your life, it will be in the here and now. Okay, you can plan for the future and all you'd like, but you can't do anything to change the future aside from alter the path you're currently on. The past, you're hooped. Whatever brought you to where you are, that's where you're starting. Okay, and we're all starting in the same place. Right here, right now. Now, you can continue worrying about whether or not the world's going to end. As a friend of mine put it one day, the world absolutely is going to end. He figures in about 5 billion years. I don't know about you, but the odds of my being actually alive in this body in 5 billion years are pretty limited. Now, rest assured, I've got enough past life memories to recognize the fact that I could still be very likely here until the planet dies, but not in this physical body. Okay, I finally, the ice around here finally melted enough that I can go out and go for a regular walk. This will help immensely in my eyes. Okay, but you take a look at where your world is. Are you content with what's going on in your world? There are people that are now starting to come to see me to get themselves turned around so they can get their life moving properly. And the reality of it is, I can give all the guidance in the world. I really can. And don't get me wrong, I don't know it all. If I knew it all, I'd be a multi-billionaire right now in perfect health. And neither am I in perfect health, nor am I a multi-billionaire. But am I healing? The answer is yes. Okay. But it's up to you to make the changes to your life that you're content with. Now, to this end, yeah, we'll do that afterwards. To this end, I've got a lot of work that I've got to do as far as writing goes. Okay, I've got a number of things I have to do as far as the house goes. But where I am content, and where you've got to be content, first of all, no matter what health state you're in, no matter what doctor has told you what, you've got to look here and go, are you happy with the way you feel or the way you look? If the answer is yes, then anybody else's complaint is not going to do much except possibly annoy you. Okay, a doctor can tell you you've got to lose weight or you're going to get sicker. Unless you get that emotional connection, it's not going to matter what the doctor says. Okay, because all change starts in the etheric level at the thought process, back where the soul is. Where the soul says, and if you don't believe in soul, call it the mind. But the reality is, it starts with a thought. Okay, even if you start it in the mind, it starts with the thought until it gets that emotional impact. You're not going to make the change. Okay, until you reach a point where you're looking at it going, I desire to change for me. Until that happens, it doesn't change. You can think about it all you want. You can look at all the facts on the planet that you desire. If there's no emotional bond, you're not going to get up and go and do it in all likelihood. This is something that you have to take control of. Once you've got that emotional bond, that emotional drive, then your brain kicks into gear and goes, how do I fulfill this requirement? How am I going to deal with this feeling? Once you figure that out, then you come up with a plan on how to get it. Okay. Now you'll notice something intriguing here. Okay. I'm writing, one of the books I'm in the middle of writing is a book on literally how to take I've already got a number of books out. Okay. Quite a number, really. But one of the books I'm looking at is we're looking at how to take that material with that spiritual thought and draw it down into the physical world. Okay. And then how to take that and how do you become successful for you? Well, there's 4 steps that are required. Okay, you've got to have, first and foremost, you've got to have a purpose for change. There has to be a reason. Once you've got the purpose, you've got to come up with a plan on how to make it change. Then you have to be persistent in your efforts to make that change. And finally, you've got to have the patience to let it happen, because I'll tell you, you didn't get to the state you're in right now by simply dreaming that it was a possibility. Now, there are cases where that has happened, where just dreaming that you could do something has worked like a charm. I know of one situation in particular from the Vietnam War, where there was a gentleman that was in a POW camp for 6 years. Before he went to war, he could not golf at all. But during the time he was in the war, during the time he was in the camp, he turned around and every day he ran his mind through the process. He visualized himself striking teeing off with a perfect stroke. He'd never picked up a golf club. But when he came out of the Vietnam War, having done that every day for 6 years, when he came out, his body remembered how to play golf. Okay, now I don't know if he ever got very far with golf, but I do know he did come to enjoy the game. But it was that focus that gave him something to take him away from the problems he was facing. Okay, now in a POW camp, you're pretty occupied. Outside of that, we have a bigger problem. There is so much going on, and so much focus on immediate gratification, and self-reward, that people don't stay focused on the whole on what they're aiming for. I'm as guilty as the next person in some ways. Now, I've got two novels in print, and the third one I'm a third of the way through, but for the last week I've been sitting with one chapter that I haven't done anything with. If I don't get my tail feathers in gear, I will not get that book finished by my own self-appointed deadline of the end of the year. So needless to say, it's up to me to pick up the pen and start writing, or to turn to my computer and start writing. That has to be done, and the only person that can do that is me. All the encouragement in the world isn't going to help. Okay, the fact that I've got multiple things on the go at the same time does create some problems as far as getting them done in a hurry. And this is one of the reasons why I'm putting the list together of things I've got to get done and go, okay, let's do these one step at a time. Check this off, check that off, get through, and work through it to get the changes happening. But for you, the only thing you can do, you can look at whatever you want. You can get all the encouragement you desire. But you're going to have to make the change. If you desire to get a haircut, you have to go to somebody that will cut your hair, or you've got to ask somebody to cut your hair. Thinking about it getting shorter isn't going to work. Okay, now everything that I talk about is a philosophy I live by, or a tool that I'm already using. And, the reality of it is this. Working together, we can make this a better world for most people. Now, this neat little book here, okay, it's already complete, obviously, or it wouldn't be in print. This contains 59 different races I've personally dealt with. But I've got an artist doing the artwork for me. And I'm about 2/3 done with the artwork. So that will when that's done, then I will put that into a second printing. Sometime in the next 2 or 3 days, this particular one. This is a sequel to The Birth of the Wolfpack. The End of an Epoch will be in print, available on Amazon within the week. At least from what I've been told. So keep an eye open for it. It is coming. It's already in Author House being done. These are little projects. Well, they're really big projects, actually. That saga, the Yldrbac Chronicles, is going to be a 6 to 10 year run to get it completed. And that's assuming I get off my tail feathers and get it written. Okay. But where it comes to the way you're feeling, take a look at the way your life is. Let go of this is real easy to say. Let go of the fear. You've been taught since you were a kid. Follow the rules, do exactly what you're told. Don't question what I'm doing, just do what I tell you. And for pity's sake, fear everything. Okay. Now I came to the conclusion this is highly self defeating. This is one of those situations where you've got a choice. You can continue fearing your shadow, you can fear anything you choose. But I will tell you, much as fear has a purpose, there's not much point to being afraid if you're aiming at moving forward. Now, you will notice there are a number of words that I say that I'll double back on and I'll all of a sudden stop myself and reword it. If you look on my list of videos, there's a subset called language. Okay. And those words are words that I have found to be very self deprecating in any language. Okay. But if you go and listen to them, I will explain to you why certain words, such as can't, if, try, impossible. There's a number of other ones, and I've got to get that series of videos finished as well. Okay. I know of at least 9 that I can think of right off the top of my head that are very self deprecating, and I choose not to use very often. I'm not perfect at it. And I'd love to say I was, but, I don't like lying to people. Which is the one thing I will guarantee you, is that I won't lie to you to make you feel better unless you ask me to. Now, I've dealt with everything from personal problems to business complications and all the way up through alien technologies, races, and cultures. I've been doing this since I was a kid. Now, this does not make me an expert. In all fairness, I prefer to call myself a specialist in these fields because they're the ones that I work with. If you're asking me how to run a computer, I'll ask you, how does a computer run? I know the basics behind it, but can I get the thing to do what I desire it to do? No. So what you do, okay, is take a look at your life. Take a look at the way your world is working. And start right here. Do you feel you're successful? Are you content with your health? Because until you find that emotional drive to make something happen, no matter how many people tell you, no matter how much you believe the people that tell you, until you get that emotional drive, you're going to run into troubles. Okay, and that's just the reality of it. You're going to run into complications. And with those complications are going to come other things. Okay, you'll build hindrances, you'll come up with excuses for not doing things. And people have been taught very well how to blame everybody else. It's time to look in the mirror and ask yourself one thing. What am I personally responsible for? What did I do? Or what am I doing that is complicating my own life? Am I making things work smoothly? Now, in my case, okay, procrastination is a fantastic thing. I can do it easily. Yeah, that's interesting. I did that on 2 different sides, but that's okay. These are just one of the steps that I use. Okay. Because I took a look in my life and went, am I content with this? The answer is no, I'm not. Am I perfect? Not even remotely. Well, I guess if we look at remote, we could say yes, I am. Okay. But take a look in your own life. Are you content with the way you're treating people? Are you content? Because here's the thing. If you're not content with the way you're being treated, really take a look at the way you're treating other people, because karmic law says energy out, energy in. The way you treat other people is a reflection of the way you're going to be treated. Not always. Okay. Then people ask me, when does karmic law catch up? Well, understand, karmic law is the law of the soul, not of the physical body. So there are times when people don't, and they seem to get away with all sorts of things, with treating people poorly, with bullying people, with getting people to operate out of fear. Okay, now we turn to the drug cartels and go, they're and the gangs, and we go, they're operating out of fear. Well, guess what? The governments around the world and the media have been doing the exact same thing, and the church is even better at it. They've all been operating on a basis of what can we get you to fear so you'll do what we say. Now, I will tell you, when we're talking about governmental and legal doctrine, okay, you're better off following the laws as they are written. Karmic law says energy out. It says do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Meaning, if you put a law down for your house and you feel people should follow that law, then it is only right that you follow the laws in other people's homes or in other people's areas. This is why I say it's not the system that has to be overhauled. It's the people governing the system that have to take responsibility for their actions on individual levels and make certain that they are following the same laws they are telling other people to follow. Now, I heard of one politician directly. Okay, well, I didn't hear from him directly. I heard for me, it was secondhand. But apparently, there was a politician that turned around and said, "Oh, the people on welfare have enough money to live on. To prove it, I'm going to live on only what they make in a month. I'm going to live a month at their level. Okay, to prove they've got enough." Well, he lasted a week. And then he turned around apparently and went, "No, I'm going back to my own level. They've got enough to work with." Okay, now this is the drawback of people having too much money and not understanding how it works. The reality is people that have the material well-being, when a depression hits, they notice it. The ones that are already on the edge never notice a depression because it's still the same struggle. Now, what I'm getting told is one very simple issue. And society is changing. People are getting the message. But the reality is that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. But it's going to require everybody's help. So yes, I'm absolutely asking for your assistance to pass this message on to everybody and everything you meet. Okay, because working together, we can turn this tide and bring society back onto a stable level. Now, I've got other things I gotta get done, and I keep these videos to a half hour. So I will be back again tomorrow. And until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.